So hey, you're looking to move to Virginia Beach, and you may be looking to actually buy. Before you actually get here, trying to make that transition as smooth and painless as possible, and you want to know how to do that. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. Hey, welcome back to the Living in Coastal Virginia channel, or if you're new here, welcome to it. And my name is Dan Inman. We talk everything live, work, play, eat, sleep, the good, the bad, the ugly of coastal Virginia. And as much as we love to make these videos of this content, we'd love more to help you with your real estate needs. I am an active realtor in the area, and my wife is a loan officer. We help folks just like you, families just like yours, make that transition in and out of the area as smooth and painless as possible. And we'd love to hear from you. All of our contact information is down below, and you can send it via phone or text or email, whatever it works best for you. Our team will respond to that and get you put into our calendars, and we'll create a custom success plan for you. If you do me a huge favor at the end of this content, if you find it helpful, hit the like button. It lets the algorithm know that we're putting out stuff that you find helpful and goes out into the interwebs and finds other people that it might be helpful for. And if you want to see more content like this, you can hit subscribe with a little bell notification on, I think it's all. Is that how it works? All?
Sure.
I don't know. YouTube is smarter than I am, so obviously hit the bell notification for however you want to, and you'll see content like this. I believe we drop it Mondays and Fridays. We may drop a little special episode every now and then. So let's talk about moving to Virginia Beach. So, hey, first of all, you're not alone. You're not the only person that's doing this. You're not the first person to do this in history. And to be honest, in today's day and age, there are more people than ever doing this, where they're moving into a new area, and it's nerve-wracking. There's a lot that goes into it. And so I kind of want to break it down into a few steps here as possible. Give you some guidance, some tips on how to best approach this, so that we can kind of alleviate some of that stress and kind of create a plan for you to make that transition well. So what I'd like to say is there's kind of like a phase one and a phase two of this. Phase one is, hey, reach out, right? Send us, pardon me, a big ass burp.
Did you hear that?
You are so weird.
So phase one, right? So phase one is reach out. Call us, text us, email us, get into our calendars. We're going to have a 15 to maybe 30-minute Zoom call, and we're going to go over the first steps. Why do I say that we need to do this right away? Well, I don't know. When I was in the military, we had a saying that proper planning prevents piss poor performance, right? So this idea that starting off the process or starting planning really early tends to prevent the opportunity for failure, right? The more that you do planning, the better you do at the beginning, when the process tends to go smoother, right? Now, life does what it does and sometimes punches you in the jaw, kind of like the Mike Tyson quote. But the earlier that we can start this, the better off that you're going to be. So we're going to hop on a quick 15 to 30 minute phone call, or a Zoom meeting. We're going to kind of go over areas, what the plan is for your family, what that transition needs to look like, what your financial plan looks like. And you're going to have a chance to talk to my wife about the financial side. And what we've found is that there are some things that you can probably tweak or improve in your overall credit profile or your finances to set you up for better success down the line. Again, we're going to go over your wants and your needs. We're going to talk about maybe areas that you need to consider. We're probably going to go ahead and get you set up on an MLS search into our MLS, so you can watch things go and come off of the market, so you can kind of get an idea of what are things being listed at, what does it look like, what do the homes look like in those areas, the neighborhoods. Is it colonials, is it Cape Cods, is it McMansions, are they old ranch styles? You want to get familiar with things at the very beginning, so when the time comes, especially in the market that we're in and things are moving so quickly, you know what you're looking for and how to make a quick decision. What you don't want to be is in a position where you feel all stressed out because you just don't feel prepared and don't feel properly advised, so that you can make a quick snap decision. Once we wrapped up that 15-30 minute Zoom call, you're on the MLS search. Obviously we're going to set up a time for, hey, what does your timeline look like? And the next part, or phase 2, is going to be the active search phase. So active search phase call is going to be about a 45-minute to an hour phone call or Zoom call, and we're going to go over what does the process look like. From start of search, going out and looking at homes, making offers, getting inspections done, appraisals, walk through all of those things. We're going to kind of dial down, make sure you're fully comfortable with every step of the process, so that when you go out to make offers, you know what it's going to take to win, and so we can properly advise you. Again, if you have all these expectations and things set up from the very beginning, and we say, hey, look, this one has 12 offers on it, here's what it's going to take to win, you don't feel like you're not being advocated for. You've already been prepped on, hey, this is probably what it's going to take if you're looking at this neighborhood and this price point to win offers. One of the other things we'll probably go over is just the state of the market. Every price point can be a little bit different. Homes in the 250 to 450 range are going to be different from the 450 to 850 range. Homes out in the middle of nowhere are going to be different than homes right along the ocean front. And so it's going to be important for you to understand, hey, what's going on in the market right now? And that's going to include the main 3 statistics that I tend to go over are months of inventory, median days on market, and the percentage of list price that it goes under contract, right? So there's an art and a science to that, and we're going to talk about exactly what to expect in the price range and area that you're looking at. Again, every situation is a little bit different. Your cash on hand may influence the offers that you're comfortable with. Now we're going to advise on every step of this. Like I say, it's a custom success plan. Buying homes and families is what I would say is an infinitely complex scenario. There are a lot of tried and true similar things, but what is good and wise for one family may not be good and wise for another. A first-time home buyer with very little cash is going to look very different than a downsizing retirement couple who has plenty of cash on hand. One of the things that we're finding very common that we need to advise on is appraisals, right? The more competitive the market and the more likelihood that a property could get bid up, there becomes a greater and greater chance that there is a gap between the contract price and the appraisal. So how do we deal with that? And we'll go over that in our phone call. We obviously have the final walkthrough, which is anywhere between 3 days before or the day of before closing. That's going to be important because if there are any repairs that have been negotiated, we're going to talk about those and how to inspect for those to make sure that they are actually done properly. And we'll go over some of those details. Lastly, obviously, we have closing. So there are multiple ways to do this. And if you're not in the area at the time of closing, there are ways to send people to your house or a local attorney or title company that we can close with in the area that you're currently in to make that nice and easy for you. All right, so we've done step 1, which is the first Zoom call. We've done step 2, which is kind of the, hey, we're ready to go out and start looking. Step 3 really is going to be active looking, right? And there's kind of 2 different ways I want to cover here. One is the full, I'm out of town, there's no way I can be in town. And then 2 is maybe potentially scheduling a time to come out and see the area for like a small vacation or a long weekend or something like that. So when you're actively looking, obviously we're going to have our conversations about areas. You're probably going to have, to a large degree, the neighborhoods, the areas that you want to be in dialed down. So let's talk about a few tools that would be helpful in this searching process. Number one for me is going to be the Trulia crime map. I just don't think that there is a easier to use tool that's out there than Trulia's. You can go and look up whatever property that you're looking at, or even neighborhood, and scroll through the neighborhood and see, how much reported crime is there. The darker the blue, the more the reported crime. The lighter the blue, the less reported crime. So you have to determine what you're comfortable with for you and your family. Next, and I've mentioned this several times in other videos, is your Google Street View, right? It's kind of fun. If you ever played with the Google Globe, you can zoom in and change the angle, and that's all fun. But I think, what's really interesting about the Google Street Maps is they update it almost every single year. And you can go down a street and go one street to the next and see, are there families out and walking about? Are there cars parked in the lawn? Is there a house with the windows boarded up? How well are people's lawns manicured or taken care of? Is there trash strewn around the neighborhood, right? Google Street View is actually an incredible tool, and I think underutilized. I would most definitely, if you're considering an area, pick the house, go all the way up and down the street, and maybe even go one block over and see what it feels like on Google Street View. Obviously, you have our YouTube videos, so until we get every single neighborhood in Virginia Beach and Chesapeake and Norfolk and all the surrounding areas, which at 2 videos a week so far, that might take a little while. But you have our YouTube videos where we spotlight the top 5 for millennials, or the top 5 vacation areas, or the top 5 closest to the beach. We're consistently coming out with that, so you obviously have our YouTube content to look at. Next is going to be school ratings. So if you have young kids, or maybe have someone that's of school age, you want to be using greatschools.org and niche.com to check out school ratings and what parents have to say about each school district. Again, you have to determine what's right for you. A lot of these parents will also review what the sports teams are like. So if you have a specific sport that you're interested in and you want them to be in the best public football league, or the best hockey league, or the best gymnastics or band, or whatever it is that you want to be part of, you'll want to do that research as well. Next one for me is going to be commute times, right? So when you're looking at, if you don't work from home, you want to make sure that you are plotting where that house is in relationship to your work, and see if if you can adjust for, I think Waze has the ability to adjust for actual traffic times. Use Waze to see how long does it take during traffic time to travel, right? Again, all of these recommendations right now are the fully remote close. If you're in town, we'll go over a few of those here in just a second. If you're curious about, let's say, income levels, demographics, city-data.com has just about every metric and resource that you want to research about an area. You can see the average home value, you can see the average income value, you can see what's the proportion of what someone voted. There are all kinds of metrics in there that are really interesting if that's something that you're interested in looking at. Obviously, you're going to be relying a lot on our team, right? So at the very beginning of that phone call, the second one, and then obviously we're out looking at homes, we're going to do our absolute best to remind you about what you told us your priorities were. If you told us that you needed a decent sized yard because you have 2 giant mastiffs, then we go there and we go, hey, I know you really like this house, but I'm here presently in the backyard. It feels a lot smaller. I know it says it's a 1/4 acre or 1/2 acre, but there is a ton of this yard that is not encapsulated, and you're really going to be struggling for space for those dogs. Or, hey, I'm here in this modern flip or remodel, and I can just tell that they've cut a lot of corners here. We may need to move on to the next one, right? So, if we get under a contract and we have that home inspection contingency, that might be an opportunity for you to fly out during that inspection time, come measure some rooms, see the place for yourself. That for me is probably the most advisable time, if you have the opportunity to be present for anything, to be present for that inspection. Because if we have to use that home inspection contingency to back out of the contract, that is going to be the most crucial time for you to be present. When it comes to actually showing properties, we can do Facebook, we can do Google Meets, we can do FaceTime on your phone. There are lots of ways to do this. My favorite, to be honest though, is a piece of technology that we use called Loom, which allows for us to record and upload to the cloud. One, it allows for you not to have to download files onto your phone, which clouds up. We get to use this technology. You can rewatch it. We can create a file for you so you have all of the different showings. It makes it very easy for you to navigate those. If you have anything in particular that you want us to spotlight when it comes to those viewings, we can do that. We also have a team dedicated to doing this. So let's say I'm out, filming these videos or out showing with another client and something pops up. Well, this market's really quick and it might make sense to actually have one of our team members go out there and shoot that video for you. If you have the opportunity to come into town and plan a multi-day visit, well, we'll have a few of city guides, planned out for you, right? It's gonna be very difficult for us to go out and drive all day with you, but we do have a guide where you can go and drive around the area, see a few of the shopping centers, check out a few of the beach areas, and go, man, is this actually where I want to live? I actually really like this option if it's possible, because then it becomes not just what we say, it becomes about what your gut tells you. So let's really quickly go over, we've had a few clients that choose to come here, rent, and then buy. So what would that look like? First of all, you need to understand that the rental market is just as competitive right now as the purchasing market. So again, start that search very early or you're gonna find yourself extremely stressed out. You can basically follow all the guidelines that we just went over before about areas and crime maps and that type of thing. That'll be really important because, well, if you're gonna rent an area, you're gonna be living there, you might not be owning, but you wanna make sure that you're gonna be comfortable there. If you can, and it might be a good option, is to check out places or see if maybe one of the ones that are listed for a yearly lease, check to see if, hey, they're listed for $2,000 a month. Hey, would you accept $2,200 or $2,300 or $2,400 a month to go month to month, right? Most landlords are looking for longer term leases, but hey, if I can make some extra money to do month to month, I might be open to that. You can also check out things like VRBO, Airbnb, Craigslist, Nextdoor, Facebook Marketplace. These are all good options to check out where rentals are. Not everything may be on Zillow or Trulia, and so you want to check out those resources as well. Highly recommend that you contact the property manager or the listing agent there first. Our market is a little bit different than other ones, and it's most beneficial to work directly with whoever has listed the property. Do not be afraid to negotiate, right? If it's competitive, most people will only submit basically an application and wait to hear back. When you talk to that listing agent or that property manager, tell them that you're willing to pay an extra $100 or tell them you're willing to put down 2 months deposit. I believe the moratorium on rents and evictions ends in September. However, if you're a landlord, your biggest concern is making sure, one, you have somebody that's going to take good care of your property. Two, you want them to be there as long as possible. And three, you actually want to get paid the rent that you've been agreed upon. So if you can offer potentially a larger deposit, it's going to remove some of that risk and some of that stress from their minds. Lastly, it would be a wise or a potential for you to give yourself some flexibility on searching is to do what's called a lease buyout clause. Now, this is exactly what it sounds like. You're offering or trying to negotiate a way, and I would do this after you get your application applied for, because you don't want to be saying this as you're applying that, hey, I want to potentially move out. Hey, Mr. Landlord, Mr. or Mrs. Landlord, I'm looking at buying a home. And I'm hoping to get some flexibility, but I want to make sure that you're taken care of. Would you give me the opportunity to buy myself out of the lease given proper notice, right? So let's say that you give a 60-day notice. You go out and we're looking for homes and you find, oh, Dan, this place is amazing. I can't pass this up. Can we put in an offer, right? And you have the lease buyout clause in place. Hey, Mr. Landlord, we found an amazing place. We're super excited about it. We just passed the home inspection, which is when I would do the notification. We're going to go ahead and put our 60-day notice in. You pay rent up to that 60 days of that notice, and then you would pay an additional month rent or additional month and a half or 2 months, whatever it is that you can negotiate with the landlord, right? This removes the risk of them, is you're giving them the opportunity over that next 60 days to find another tenant. When they go to place the new tenant, and whoever the property manager is or the agent that's listing the property is going to charge a tenant placement fee. Well, you paying that extra amount removes that risk of that transition period. Last piece of when you're looking at properties, when you're doing Google Maps, when you actually go, and I would say location is the most important thing. understand that your gut benefits from millions of years of evolution. If you go to a place and you wouldn't let your daughter walk the dog at 9 o'clock at night, if you go there at 9 o'clock on a Saturday, if there's something in your gut that says it's not sitting right. Now, my gut doesn't always lead me in the right directions. Many times it leads me to cake. But the big thing here is that your gut is extremely good at detecting danger or things that are uncomfortable. Listen to that. That's an important part of the home search process. So lastly, hey, you've done all of this. We found you a place. You did your inspections, your appraisal, your walkthrough. You've closed on the home. Well, the last step here is going to be to join our private Facebook group where clients just like you get to join and engage with us on a regular occasion. We do small business interviews and giveaways in there. We announce client events. We do about 6 of those a year. Just this weekend we're going to be doing a Father's Day event where you come to a local pizza place, pick up a pizza, grab a gift card on us, go home and watch a movie on us for a rental. And then this time around we're going to have an open bar. So if you end up staying for a little bit, we're going to have a few drinks on us. So you get to be part of this cool community. If you're new to the area, you can ask people about where to go to eat and what to do and local wildlife, flora and fauna, that type of thing. So that's a really cool resource for when you actually close. Hey, I hope this was super helpful. We understand that these transitions in and out of the area can be stressful, and we do everything we can to make that as smooth and painless as possible. So as much as we love making this content, we'd love to hear from you and make that transition with you. I'm on the real estate side, my wife is on the loan side, and again, we work in conjunction most of the time to do that transition with you. If I've earned it, hey, hit the like button. If you want to see more content like this, you can hit subscribe. See it Mondays and Fridays. Until next time, did I skip anything, Sean? No. Okay, until next time, we'll talk to you later.